Hello everyone, welcome back to Let's Talk About Singing. My name is Marco, I'm a singer, songwriter, voice teacher from Italy living in New York City. We're here today with another reaction and vocal analysis. Marco Mengoni won the Sanremo Festival with Due Vite, and so he'll be officially representing Italy at Eurovision. This is very exciting. I remember when he arrived into the music scene through the X Factor. He was already so talented, but I definitely would have not expected for him to become so huge. He is such a great vocalist and he always used so many different colors in his voice and dynamics and placement, so I'm very excited to go through this song and analyze every single detail. Before we start, if you're a singer or you like to sing and you want to take your singing to the next level, I want to remind you that you can book a free coaching session consultation with me. All you have to do is click on the link in the description of this video. My contacts are there, all my social medias are there. Reach out and let's work together. But now let's listen to Due Vite, Marco Mengoni.
Siamo i soli svegli in tutto l'universo e non conosco ancora bene il tuo deserto. Forse in un posto del mio cuore dove il sole è sempre spento, dove a volte ti perdo, ma se voglio ti prendo.
One thing that's very interesting to me is how much his voice matured through the years compared to the beginning, when he was always singing from a certain higher placement, kind of like mixy spot. His voice in this first verse, he's very mature, deep, rounded, warm, very chesty, very low placed, less mixed. In this first part, he definitely likes to use different types of distortion. Sometimes he adds a little bit of breathiness, sometimes he adds a little bit of vocal fry, which is kind of his trademark. One thing that I like about this is that he sings through the fry. He's applying vocal fry through the note. For example, when he says, "Forse un posto del mio cuore," the way he says cuore has that little cuore, that little vocal fry in it. It's such a simple thing, but it's so expressive. And then again, he puts that like breathiness through the chest voice. Ma se voglio ti prendo, ma se voglio ti prendo. The way he says prendo with that, moving a lot of air through it. Really, really good. We're starting already with a lot of different vocal choices.
Siamo fermi in un tempo così che solleva le strade, con il cielo ad un passo da qui, siamo i mostri e le fate. Dovrei telefonarti, dirti le cose che sento, ma ho finito le scuse e non ho più difese. Siamo un libro sul pavimento in una casa vuota che sembra la nostra. Il caffè col limone contro l'hangover sembri una foto mossa. E ci siamo fottuti ancora una notte fuori un locale, e meno male.
Yeah, I really, really like this neutral tone that he's using, even in the second part of the first verse. It's so smooth, it's full, and at the same time, it's soft. He can deliver this sense of like softness and smoothness, but with a full sound. It's very intense, but at the same time, it feels like he's caressing you. And then the pre-chorus starts, and there is one placement and one dynamic. No more time for all different vocal choices. It's one spot, and we're sticking to it, because we want to give this sense of like something bigger is coming. There's a sense of crescendo, right? And then when the melody rises, we have a first sample of his usual placement, the meno male, that little mixy sound that he uses. It's so interesting how different his sounds are depending on where he is in his range. Such different qualities in the tone of his voice. And when the melody goes from lower to higher, you can definitely hear a switch in sound placement from a chesty sound that he kept on using throughout this first verse and pre-chorus, and then all of a sudden we go into this higher part, higher placed part. We go like from here to here. E ci siamo fottuti ancora una notte fuori un locale. I'm trying to kind of like imitate what he's doing. We can definitely hear his voice rising up into his face, and then meno male, straight into that big, bright, open sound that he usually uses.
Se questa è l'ultima canzone, poi la luna esploderà. Sarò lì a dirti che sbagli, ti sbagli, lo sai, qui non arriva la musica. E tu non dormi, e dove sarai, dove vai, quando la vita poi esagera. Tutte le corse che giri fanno due vite.
He's so good. Oh my god. So this whole chorus revolves around G, G sharp 4, G, G sharp, F, E flat. These are the main notes of the chorus on the 4th octave. They're notes that usually need a lot of control to be performed. And it's just awesome to notice how effortless he is up there. He is delivering these high notes, not giving full power yet. The song is still proceeding slowly. It hasn't opened up yet when it comes to like the arrangement and the instruments. So he is going up there. He's giving you a higher placement, but he's still not moving the voice as forward as he could. He's saving that for later. His placement is just perfect. I like a lot the fact that his resonance is showing, the high placement is showing, but he's still trying to give a little bit of softness and a little bit of breathiness at the same time. In order to do this type of dynamics up there, you definitely need a lot of space in your mouth, a lot of opening, and you have to be a pro at balancing your airflow, right? It's almost like, it's kind of like you're projecting, but not projecting too much, and you have to find this fine balance. You don't want to belt too powerfully, you want to give resonance, but you're still applying a certain soft approach. It's really, really hard to do. Se questa è l'ultima canzone, poi la luna esploderà. You know, he's trying to give that. Sarò lì a dirti che sbagli, ti sbagli e lo sai. It's this type of sound. But in his case, there's even that little like metallic effect because he's constantly up here. Sbagli, ti sbagli e lo sai. I love how he ends the words my. Dormi, 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 my. It kind of sounds like he literally took his voice and turned it around and added vibrato. It's such a soulful thing to do. It's almost, you can still hear some breathiness and some distortion in the back. It's almost like he has a constant little distortion going on. It's hard on this version because of the compression and the different vocal tracks and the mixing. But when he does it live, you can definitely hear it more. There's a little bit of like always acting up, which is great, and it adds more character to his voice.
Siamo i soli svegli in tutto l'universo, a gridare un po' di rabbia sopra un tetto, che nessuno si sente così, che nessuno li guarda più i film, i fiori nella tua camera, la mia maglia metallica. Siamo un libro sul pavimento in una casa vuota che sembra la nostra, persi tra le persone, quante parole senza mai una risposta, e ci siamo fottuti ancora una notte fuori al locale, e meno male.
Beautiful. So we have new rhythmic elements. You know, there's a beat, there are drums, percussions. So the vibe is similar to the first verse, but with a deeper sound, a little more forward sound. Of course, in combination with the arrangement now being fuller and more direct. Notice how there is no vibrato at all in these phrases. He's almost doing like less singing and more like straightforward vocals, kind of like talking a little bit. This choice really helps creating a contrast between the different sections of the song, right? In the verse and the pre-chorus, there is this more like neutral, forward sound, almost talkative, very chesty, less sung, less embellished, right? And then the chorus is just like big open vocals, very embellished, very sung. I love how expressive he is. Notice how he's capable of being very communicative and very emotional without over singing, without overdoing anything, without being overly dramatic. There's no need to go over the top to communicate emotions. He's using little details, you know, like that little friar, that little breathiness.
Se questa è l'ultima canzone, poi la luna esploderà. Sarò lì a dirti che sbagli, ti sbagli e lo sai. Qui non arriva la musica e tu non dormi, e dove sarai, dove vai quando la vita poi esagera. Tutte le corse, gli schiaffi e gli sbagli che fai quando qualcosa ti agita.
Amazing. Wow. Oh, he's so good. And so now for this second chorus where there are more instruments, there's more power, more sound, he is also moving the sound of his voice a little forward. There are no dynamics, no intent to sound softer or breathier. He's just going for it. One placement, one dynamic, straightforward, very, very intense, very resonant, very bright, very high placed. Another thing that I want you to notice is how quick he ends the phrases. There's no prolonging of any syllable at the end of any phrase. Canzone poi la luna esploderà. Sarò lì a dirti che sbagli e ti sbagli e lo sai. Qui non arriva la musica. He's just cutting off the ending of these phrases very quickly. And this is a common mistake that I hear a lot when people try to sing. If you're trying to sing this song, please don't prolong the ending of the phrase. It doesn't have the same effect if you make them too long. Qui non arriva la musica. You don't want to do that. Please don't do that. Qui non arriva la musica. Close. And then he slides directly into the bridge from the ending of the chorus on that dormi. You know how hard it is to sustain an E up there? It's one of the worst vowels to sing in the high register. And then when he goes, restiamo al buio avvolti solo dal suono della voce. He's hitting a B flat right there. It's a very, very high note for a guy. And again, we have a combination of elements. We have this like polished, clear, very bright resonant sound. And then we have distortion coming in the parts of the song where he's putting more emphasis, you know, where he's putting more passion and more intensity. He applies that distortion. And there's a point where he almost sounds like Michael Jackson. When he says, al di là della foglia che bella, that little yeah, you know, with that hard closure with distortion. This is a very good way to talk about how sometimes sounds that are not perfect are actually more expressive and more communicative than bright, clear note. It's not like he cannot do it in a clean way. It's that because of that rasp that he's adding, he's trying to communicate something a little stronger, especially on the word follia, right? Which means madness. Al di là della follia che balla in tutte le cose. Imagine if he did al di là della follia che balla in tutte le cose. You wouldn't have felt it the same way. Let's dive into the last chorus.
Se questa è l'ultima giri fanno due vite, due vite.
Wow, he's so good. Whew. Okay, on this last chorus, we have a jump from a G4 to a B4 on that beautiful, almost like screamed, se questa è l'ultima canzone. Oh, that was so beautiful. Oof, shivers. You can tell that Marco Mengoni has sung soul music a lot. There are so many elements that are typical of like R&B and gospel and soul. He's doing different melodies here. He's doing little like ad-libs, and there is one run. You know, he can do runs, but there's no need to do riffs and runs in every song. He's doing a little embellishment when he does Qui non arriva la musica. That little you know, just one run in the whole song. That's good to give a little flavor. Perfect. And then we have that beautiful drop at the end, right? All this climax, all this power, both instrument and vocals, and then all of a sudden everything drops down and he goes back to that soft vocals in a matter of a second, which is so hard to do, especially if you're singing live, after giving all that power to just like bring everything down. It's something really tough to perform. It's great. He's such a good singer. He's such a vocalist. Marco Mengoni is one of the few singers in Italy that is a real skilled vocalist. This song is a perfect blend of interpretation and technique, rawness and at the same time control, distortion and clean sound, power and gentleness. It's great to listen to this and understand that one thing doesn't exclude the other, right? You can sing with opposite choices of vocals in the same song and make it work if you apply them in the right spot. He just has so much control and he knows his voice very well. He is really a pro vocalist. Bravissimo, veramente. Troppo bravo. All right, guys, let me know what you think. Let me know if you are fans of Marco Mengoni, if you've been following him from the beginning at the X Factor, or if you just discovered it, if you think he has a shot of winning Eurovision, if you think that that was the right song to win Sanremo. Let's talk about it, put it in the comment section. I'll see you soon with another reaction and vocal analysis. This is Marco. Let's talk about singing. Ciao.